Hello, welcome to Coull Discussions. I'm Barry, this is Chris. Today we're going to talk a little bit about privilege, I guess. More specifically, what I'm going to dub a new term, maybe it's not new, but rich privilege. And the reason that I want to talk a little bit about this is because last week in headlines we talked about Brock Turner, the guy who raped that drunk passed out girl behind the garbage can. He was released. And a lot of people are up in arms, obviously, which I am as well. I think it's ridiculous. And
3 months.
3 months into a 6-month sentence, so there's two wrongs. But people are saying it's because he's white, and they're saying white privilege gets you this. And last week I called it, I didn't call it white privilege because I don't think it's white privilege. I think it's rich privilege. Now, and the reason that I think this is because you look at him, his economic status, well, his family's economic status, is more of the higher class. Mm-hmm. I'm not exactly sure what his parents do, but they've got a little bit of money, it seems like. Yep. And he was allowed to get out. Is that a coincidence? I think not, because you can look at many things in the world and society. When you look at like an athlete or a famous person, and the one that kicks to my mind is Bruno Mars got caught with cocaine.
Bruno Mars?
I believe it was him. Or there have been a lot of famous people who have done DUIs, drugs, have been caught with all this stuff.
Lindsay Lohan, actually, is a good example of DUIs.
And you don't see them going to getting harsh prison sentences or getting harsh things.
You don't have them hitting that 3 strikes and you're out.
And you don't deal. You don't, and you see it from the white person, the black person, the male, the female. All of them are getting off. They seem to. You hear about it, and then it just kind of fades away. Mm-hmm. Whereas if I was caught with some sort of drug or a DUI, I would be given a harsh sentence. I would be prosecuted to the fullest end of the law. And what is this? So it's one of two things. It could be their economic status or their social status in the world. I think those two have more of a prevalence than, say, your color, like race. I think we should, as media, as anybody out there who covers news, should maybe be looking towards those two things. Because when you look at a lot of, these people who've been shot by police, there are a couple black people, a few black people. We've talked about it before back in Black Lives Matter, our YouTube channel. Check it out, where we go into detail about our thoughts on Black Lives Matters and stuff like that. And
police violence is
name
of the episode.
Yeah. Actually. So and that covers all of that and stuff like that. I'm sure it happens a lot when you're being pulled over, situations like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So imagine you're a cop and you pull over a famous person. You're like, oh, maybe you're a little more inclined to let them go. You know what I mean? Or you pull over somebody in a nicer car. Maybe you're more inclined to let them go. Or you pull over.
Okay, an example of this is Fluffy, a comedian named Fluffy, Enrique Iglesias. He has, in his acts, he has said he's been pulled over by cops and he's had to do charity events instead of actually being ticketed.
Yeah.
Which is, that's an example of a rich privilege. Because this person is actually famous, they've gotten out of having a ticket or getting charged with an offense, and instead have to perform for police.
Where's my opportunity to stand up there and
No,
perform, you know what I mean? If something like that example is allowed to do that, why are we as just regular people not allowed, given that option? You know.
And okay, now in a sense, they're doing it for charity, so it's a charitable event. They probably don't
community service.
Yeah, it's a form of community service, which I can kind of understand. It kind of makes sense. You are doing it for a good cause, and you're trying to make sure that this person, because I don't know anybody. If you guys are aware of him, he's actually a pretty outgoing guy. He comes across as really nice and stuff like that. So you don't want to be, making it so his life is miserable. But the same can be said for anybody. If he gets pulled over, I get pulled over. Well, why are you going to try to make my life miserable? I've never done anything. A great example was in headlines last week. A guy got 200 years in prison
for attempted murder.
For 2 attempted murders. Yeah. And he didn't. So it's like, you go to that extreme, and this guy who raped a girl got 3 months.
3 months. He served 3 months, and it's like, yeah, he's a registered sex offender. Great. Whoopee ding dong, you know what I mean? He's still not out.
If I wanted to, I could get him registered as a sex offender. All I have to do is lie on an
There's
app.
a park right here. I could just be like, oh, we saw you naked through the window. Now you're a sex offender.
Well, you could actually just go onto an app, and then you go,
Yeah,
this guy's a sex offender, and then all of a sudden he shows up on that app as a sex offender, and you go, what?
Oh, your name gets plastered all over social media, and you know you're labeled as that. You're guilty in the media, in the eyes of the public already. You know what I mean? So I just think that as a society, we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and go, how are we judging people? Because we all do it. We all judge people based on their economic status. Like, if you don't see rich kids hanging out with poor kids, do you? Very rarely. There's exceptions to every rule. You know what I mean? You don't see, like, normally you see, you see black people hanging with black people, white people hanging with white people. You know, the Indians hang with the Indians. You know, stuff like that. And it's like, maybe we should just look ourselves in the mirror and go, maybe I shouldn't be so close-minded just to hang out with the white man. That's my friend. Maybe I should hang out with the black man. Because they're probably just as nice as the white man. And the rich man should go, hey, I'll hang with the poor man because they're probably just
Okay, wow, we're talking about a lot of past episodes. Last week when we were talking about where to invade next, I believe it was Sweden, where is there no private schools,
Finland.
there's no Finland, no private schools, no charter schools. Yeah. Everybody goes to the same school, so rich,
to prevent
poor,
that.
all go to the same school, so to prevent things like that. We all indulge in self-segregation, and as much as we want to think it's a great, wonderful thing to have, it's not necessarily a great, wonderful thing to have. It's always interesting to see what the other side of the fence thinks, because, you think grass is always greener. Well, get to know somebody on the other side of the fence and see if they think it's greener over there.
It's just you're treated differently. Like, there was a little clip on the Ellen DeGeneres show of, like, they went into a mall, her and Britney Spears went into a mall, and they were just causing, like, being loud, and they were, like, they took something from a store, and, like, I can do whatever I want, because I'm Britney Spears, I'm Ellen, And imagine if me and you went into a store, and we're like, I'm just going to walk out with this purse, or this thing, I would get charged with shoplifting. You know what I mean? If I was causing a scene, I would have security called on me, because I'm a nobody. So, I think that we should be asking ourselves the question, is racism happening? Of course it is. I'm not saying that it's not. Don't take it as that.
But who's a racist? You or me?
We're all racist. Yeah. I don't care who you are, we're all racist. Every single person that opens their mouth as an adult is probably said something racist. Okay? And whether you've meant to or not, or done something racist. You know what I mean? If you look at yourself and you go, how many, all my friends are white, you could be considered racist. But what is...
But are all your friends white because it's a white neighborhood and you've never met a black person? Yeah. It's like, sorry, when I went to high school, there was 2 black kids in the whole school. 2. Okay? Now there's a lot more. But, am I going to get to know that black kid because he's just wandering the hall because he's one of 2 black kids?
Hell, am I going to get to know anybody because they're wandering the hall? Probably not.
No.
But that's just because I'm an introvert.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you just need to look at it. There's another form of racism, and it's social racism.
Yeah,
it's social status. It's economical racism. I think so. To sit there and just be like, oh, these people are killed because they're black. Well, these people are oppressed because they're this color or this color. I think people should be like, these people are oppressed because they're poor, as well, just as much.
Well, one thing that nobody ever seems to understand is it is expensive being poor.
Yeah.
Things cost more. Things take more time. If you don't drive and you have to take the bus, taking the bus, if a bus is late, that could be your job.
Yeah.
Right? A car, if you're middle class, your car breaks down, you can get it fixed the next day. If you're poor, your car breaks down, that's it.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about it.
You're screwed. It ruins your day, ruins your month.
Yeah. There's no way around it. There are other ways to describe that, but it's,
you get that preferred reservation at the restaurant if you're, they'll make exceptions to you. You can get tickets to that sold out event. Like, I couldn't just go and get a ticket to the World Cup final. If it's sold out, they'd be like, too bad you missed out. It sucks to be you. But if I was David Beckham, they'd be like, come on in. We'll go to that box. You know what I mean? And it's like, that I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm okay with people with that happening, but I think you need to have that in the same. I think it could be in the same conversation as racism. I really honestly do, because I think that people are. I think it's the same thing. It's just as bad.
Because what you're doing is the people that can afford the things that they're getting, you're giving away for free. When you should be, these are the people that you should be charging.
Yeah.
Because they can afford it, and you should be giving sweepstakes out to the people that are,
less fortunate.
And you go, hey, congratulations! You've entered in because you're poor. Congratulations! You get to come to the box and watch the game.
Yeah.
Because David Beckham can afford a $5,000 seat.
It would mean more to somebody like that than it would probably to somebody
now
in that situation.
It's easy to say these things because we're on the bottom, but when you're on the top, it's like, well, I'm entitled to my entitlements. It's like, are those really your entitlements that you are getting, or you're just taking it because you are?
Yeah, because you're using who you are, and I'm not gonna. Some of these people work hard.
Yeah.
To get it comes back to the. Did we talk about it? I can't remember if we had an episode about success. Did we talk about that on?
Ooh, that was one of the special ones, I think.
Check it out on our YouTube channel if it is. I'm not 100% sure if it is.
That one should have showed up on Facebook.
But what we talked about a little bit, maybe off air, but
the 4 things that you need in life success. I honestly don't remember.
It was okay. So you need to be a hard worker. You need to have a good attitude. Those are 2 things. So those are 2 things that you can control. But I think opportunity and what was the 4th one? Who you know.
Yes,
I think those are the 4 things.
You need 3
out of the
those
4
things
to succeed.
Yeah.
Okay, and really think about it when you look at like an athlete. There's generations of athletes. Think about why those generations are allowed to continue. Because they were given that opportunity. Did they work hard? Yes. Did they have a good mindset? Maybe. But they had an opportunity, and they also knew somebody to get them in to that business or
look at how many 2nd and 3rd generation actors there are.
Yeah.
All these actors that are not all of them, but there's a large chunk of them that are around, and you go, oh, that's cool. Like Robin Thicke, his father was a famous actor.
Yeah.
I didn't know this, and then it's just like, wow, so you're famous because your dad's
name.
famous.
You're using your name. It's like, imagine, okay, so like
I think his name is different than his father's.
Robin Thicke.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But when you go into, say, a job interview, right? So say you and I went into a job interview, right? I know the person that I'm going to the job for. You don't. Who has the upper hand? Me. You have to work a little bit harder to get the job to impress, because they don't know you, where they know me, so they know a little bit of who I am. You already have that upper hand. The promotion is happening. Oh, you hang out with the boss a little bit after work. You socialize. You guys have something in common. You're in the same fantasy football league. Let's be real and just remember what that is. That's an opportunity. That's who you know.
I'm honestly guilty of this.
We all are.
Like when I was at Boston Pizza, it was like, oh, I get to go to a special event. It's like, woohoo! Well, you get to bring somebody, okay? And it's like I get to pick and choose. And honestly, I'm not going to take somebody I'm not going to like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, let's go, and then all of a sudden, we're going. So, I get it. I understand the want. But there's that sense of. It's a sense of entitlement that comes with being rich, that people automatically get stuff, and it's like, no, they shouldn't automatically get stuff.
When you're brought up in a wealthy family and you're a kid of a wealthy parent, your parents are wealthy, you don't have the same work ethic as your parents. You're like, oh, I get this.
Now, we're not saying all of them, but your work ethic might be different because you don't have the same struggles that
Just look at say you work in an office or your job wherever you work. Just actually take a look around, and see what happens when there's a promotion or a new job opening, and just pay attention to what's happening. People, I think, have a common misconception that if you work hard and you have a positive attitude, you can get whatever you want, and that's not true. There are select circumstances and examples that, yes, you have hard work and you have a good mind set, you're gonna do it, you're gonna succeed. But there's an example, there's a UFC fight that's happening Saturday CM Punk, he was a professional wrestler with WWE. He has no career fights, and he's fighting in the UFC. Who gets that? Why did he get that? Because he's a name. He's a name. He's already a name. Mm-hmm. He's a recognizable name, so the UFC went, okay, we'll jump on that. We'll give him an opportunity. And he got that opportunity because of who he was, his name. And you know what I mean? Did he work hard for his success in WWE? Of course he did. But now he's getting a different opportunity for success somewhere else because of who he knows and who he is. Mm-hmm. Of his name, his status. We just had a ghost come in and visit us. So if you see something funky happening behind us, that's why, because we have a ghost.
Yep.
The door just opened. Yep. On its own. On its own. You know what I mean? So I think that, I think racism is a problem, yes. Absolutely.
But unfortunately, racism is something that you, as an individual, have to work on. You know, you just have to make attempts to stop being as openly bigoted as you used to be. Like, I know, like, if you're a skinhead and you absolutely hate blacks and stuff like that, you know, you're not the type of person that's going to change. But just the average Joe Blow, instead of looking at a black guy going, well, he's going to rob me, you can go, that's just a person.
Have you ever, ask yourself this question, have you ever been walking down the street, say in the evening, and seen a questionable group of individuals and cross the street? Have you done that?
No.
I've done that.
But
I'm racist. Now, I've made a judgment on how you look, whether you're white thugs or black thugs or green thugs or
but I
whatever.
Get ready.
But you're more heightened, you're more aware because of the way they look, because of the way people look. So you're making a judgment. So in a sense, you are being racist. And it's not just because of their skin, it's because the white kid dresses like a thug and you're like, oh, maybe they're going to try something. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So really, racism isn't just skin color. It's what you wear, it's how much money you have, and it's your social status in the world. It can be any one of those. You know what I mean? So to sit there and be like, Brock Turner got out because he's white is fallacy. He got out because he's rich. His family's rich and he has status in the world. And
Brock Turner?
Is that his name? Brock Turner, the rapist?
Oh, okay. I forgot. Yeah,
the rapist.
Yeah. The rapist, the campus rapist. No,
like somebody pulled some strings somewhere.
Yeah, somehow because he was a star athlete. You know, he was well liked. Blah blah blah. He probably got a much lighter sentence than say some black kid. Honestly, you know,
we know that it's not.
There's no doubting that this is.
It was not even if it was a black kid. If it was just some white hobo-looking dude, if it was just some white dude who was on a scholarship to that school who did that, it'd be like, well, too bad. Your parents were warehouse workers or whatever. Or your mom was a waitress. Your dad was a cook. And they met. They got you. You got a scholarship because you worked hard and you raped somebody. Well, your scholarship's gone. You're in jail for years.
Yeah.
Because nobody can because your parents don't have the money to get lawyers and all that stuff, right? Just look at like college athletes. How many times probably something has been swept under the rug for them? You know what I mean? It's like there's probably tons of examples.
Well, okay, there are tons of examples, like the Rolling Stones. Now, that's an old band. Now, in the 70s, in Toronto, after one of their concerts, they absolutely trashed the hotel that they were in. Now, I'm not sure if it was the entire hotel or just like a whole floor, but they trashed it. The city, they were arrested, they went to court, and the city said this: "Oh, we absolve you of all charges, but you owe us a favor. A big favor." In the 90s, when SARS was going through Toronto, big SARS thing, you know, disease, stuff like that, after it had been rectified, like there was no more SARS incidents, Rolling Stones was actually tapped and said, you guys have to perform a concert here in Toronto just to show how safe it is.
Really? I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's very interesting. You see?
So that's a really good example. Okay. I get it. When you have a celebrity and you can have them owe you a favor, by comparison, what are you going to do for this city?
Well, exactly. What are you
going to do for
what
the
am
city?
I going to do?
So we charge you.
Yeah.
Throw you in jail. But if I have the Rolling Stones and all of a sudden I can get a favor out of them, think about the things you could honestly do. It's like they had to perform They were the headline act on a outdoor concert to say that SARS was gone, that Toronto's safe again. I get that. Fluffy, the comedian, he does the same thing. He says in his acts, I love performing for the police. I have no problem for them. They are my friends. I know many of them, and I like doing this because it helps them. This is what I like to do. And that's, hey, if you get in trouble and that's what you like to do and you can do it and make it better, call it community service. That's fine. But a celebrity like Lindsay Lohan, who has been repeatedly caught for drunk driving,
or drug offenses or whatever,
never lost her license. She's always been put on probation, and it's just like, well, she hasn't done anything. It's not like she's gone to charity events or anything like. Okay, maybe she has, but you don't hear about them, or I haven't heard about them, and. So it's like, you put Fluffy, Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan hasn't done anything. Fluffy does. And he says it's a valuable part. It's like, you know what? I don't want to ever get caught. I try not to break the law. However, when I do, if I can help out, this is what I'm going to try to do. And it's great because, he's doing something good for the community. Whereas Lindsay Lohan goes, sorry, I won't do it again. Yeah, and then the next station does it again.
It's just a matter of, like, before you sit there and you jump on the race train, of course there are the rape things. I'm going to keep saying that. There are, 100%. But I think you need to look at the situation as a whole. Did Brock Turner get out because he's white? No. Was it part of it? Maybe. Was it 100% of the reason? No. He got out because he has privileges of his status, his economic status, his social status, his parents, his family. So there were strings pulled. There had to have been. There was no way that, there's no way that it was just, oh, you're a good person, we're going to let you out in 3 months. And to even be sentenced to 6 months was
a joke.
Was a joke. And it's we talked about this whole case in a previous episode. Go check it out. So just before you go, oh, it's because they were black. Of course.
Well, okay, maybe black people are sentenced harsher, which, there are evidence stating that that's true. Well, maybe we as a society need to start going, well, maybe we should stop doing that.
But let's not forget Michael Vick, quarterback in the NFL, black male, caught for dog fights. Back in the NFL, he plays in the NFL still. Like, let's not forget these examples of this.
Or the ones that have beaten wives. Like, the NFL is actually a really good example of getting away with.
Who was it? That guy who punched his girlfriend in the face in the elevator. On video, proven. Where is he? Is he still playing the NFL? I don't 100% know, but he didn't get thrown in jail. I don't think. I'm pretty sure he didn't get thrown in jail.
And that wasn't black privilege. That was because he was rich.
Jose Reyes was found domestic violence. He still plays in the fucking Major League Baseball. Obviously the teams obviously suspend him. Obviously a team does this automatically. Oh, you did this? Okay, you're suspended, but we're going to release you. And then it'll just blow over and you'll be back.
Yeah, we wait like 2-3 months and then everybody's
over,
moved on to the next thing.
And you come back and you're like, okay, no problems. Another team will pick you up. So just remember that. That's another part of it too. Not just race. Status.
Yeah, it's a weird society that we live in. We do live in oh, damn it, I wish I could pronounce words some days. We live in a top-down society.
Hierarchy?
Yeah,
hierarchy.
Yeah, there we go. Hierarchy. Yeah.
If you're up here, you're like gold. If you're down here, you're like nothing. You're not even thought of. You're a peasant.
There was a comic. It's like birds on a post. You have your CEO on the top. You have your middle guys, and then you have your guys down here.
Shit rolls downhill.
Shit rolls down here, and it's like the guy on the top, every time he looks down, he sees nothing but shit. And the guys from the bottom, when they look up, all they see are assholes.
And it happens. It's true. In every aspect, every facet of life, you see it.
Yeah, when you're at work, how do things work?
Just look at it. Just pay attention.
Do you get a raise because you worked hard, or is it a raise because you happen to
How many times have
get to
we
know the guy who's doing your review?
Have we ever? How many times have we've all done it where we go, well, that person got it because of they know who. Well, they're friends, so that's why they got promoted, and it's like we've all done it. They got a raise because of who you know, and it's like you're keeping your job because of who you know, and it's like, well,
you got the job because of who you know.
And we've all taken advantage of it. We've all used it to our advantage. We've all used our ins. Oh, hey, does anybody know somebody in cable or roofing who can hook me up with a deal? Oh, yeah, of course we do, and we all do it, and it happens. But all we're saying is that before we jump all over the race card in negative situations, let's look at the whole scenario of, okay, who is this person? The visible things, obviously, yes, they're black or white or brown or their skin color.
Honestly, if some skinhead with a Nazi Nazi symbols tattooed to the side of his head is found beating up a black guy, I don't think it had anything to do with economics.
No,
I think it had to do with the guy that thinks he's a skinhead and he hates blacks.
Yeah.
But if you come across, in the headlines this past week, if you come across some guy who just beat this guy up with a baseball bat, and you go, well, why are you doing that? And it's like, well, if you rewind time back, you realize that this guy just tried to carjack his mother. I think there's a little bit of leeway you could have there, because that's what the law is supposed to be about. It's supposed to be looking at each circumstance and what has surrounded it, and why it might have happened because of that.
You gotta look at the whole story.
That's why when you're convicted of a crime, there has to be a motive, has to be opportunity, and generally there has to be a body.
Yeah. If it's murder, of course.
Well, even like if it's stolen property, if you can't find the stolen property, it's harder to convict a person.
Yeah.
If it's assault, does a person have?
Yeah.
Is he black and blue all over? No. Well, did you really punch him then?
Yeah, exactly. Did you really punch him that hard?
Yeah. Or did he just hurt your feelings?
That's right. Other than that, guys, that's it. That's all I got to say about that, guys. Just remember to take everything into account.
Don't be so judgmental. We all do it. We're all going to do it.
Yep, I'm guilty. 100%.
And it's something that it's done out of human nature. But the only person who can change you is you. I can't change you as much as I'd like to. I can't.
That's right.
And you can't change me, because you're just a person on the other side of the camera.
That's right.
I'm on this side. You can see me. I can't see you.
That's right. All right, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Comment below if about what you think about that. Is there such thing as rich privilege?
Yeah, I think so.
Is there such thing? Do you believe that happens?
As white privilege, not in necessarily the way that Black Lives Matter say it exists.
And which do you think is more prevalent? Do you think racism is, or do you think social economic privileges are? Which one do you think weighs? Or do you think they're equal? Or do you think they should be treated the same? And if so, why do we not have I guess we have Occupy Wall Street, eh? Our Occupy movement. I guess we have those guys. That worked out well, didn't it? Anyways, guys, have yourselves
Thanks
a
for joining us
weekend.
this week. You guys have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week on Monday, our favorite day of the week for headlines. Yeah.
Later.